Joining us now to talk about the Giants' first win of the season is Bobby Skinner, host of Talkin Giants for John Boy Media. Bobby, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on after a win instead of a loss.
Yeah, well, we don't know how many we're going to get, so I'm glad we were able to have you on tonight. But we got to start with Malik Nabers. The guy is the first player in NFL history, 20 catches and 3 touchdowns in his first 3 games. We knew it'd be good, but did you think it'd be this good this fast?
I didn't know if the stats would be there as quickly as they are now. But after watching him through the draft process and going to every training camp practice, it was actually boring because it's like, okay, it's so clear that you're good. I'm waiting for the games to see it actually show up. And he's been able to do that, right? Like, forget just the raw stats. He's been throwing the ball on 3rd and 4th down 11 times. He's had 10 catches, right? So he's been able to make big plays on those big money downs. The one that they didn't was the drop last week versus the Commanders. So he's not only just filling up the stat sheet, like he's contributing to them moving the ball down the field and getting their first win.
I don't know why you got to bring up old stuff. We're talking about this week and the win, not last week and the loss here with that 4th down drop. Look, Nabers was a big reason that Daniel Jones had a productive day. 24 of 34, 236 and 2 touchdowns for him. No picks today. Could have been a few, if not for especially that one Malik Nabers grab where he stole the ball from the DB. How are you feeling about Jones, though, 3 weeks into the season?
Better than I was after watching camp preseason in that first Vikings game, because watching that small sample size coming off the injury, you were worried that you were possibly in for a disaster year, right? We've seen DJ put together a baseline of quarterback play, but we had never seen him come off of a torn ACL before, and he was dealing with that neck injury as well. And he was just missing. He didn't look comfortable at all. I don't think anybody believes that, Daniel Jones is earning his right to continue playing for them for years and years and earning that contract. But to get through a season and keep guys from losing their jobs, he looks good enough to where he can operate an offense and get the ball to his playmakers like Nabers and Wandale.
Competent is the level of quarterback play that Giants have just been looking for a while now. All right, let's talk about this defense here, because this front 7 was supposed to be the backbone of this team. They stepped up today finally, especially late in the game. 8 sacks. What stood out to you this week?
Bringing it. They played very soft the week before. They blitz over 50% of the time, which is not a Shane Bowen staple of his defenses. In fact, it's the opposite, where they don't blitz much. They brought it. They played man coverage, and they had 8 sacks today, I believe. Also pressuring Deshaun Watson basically almost every single down, and he performed really badly against that. But really bringing it up front, starting with Dexter Lawrence, right? He's maybe the best nose tackle we've ever seen in the NFL. And then guys like Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau stepping up. Brian Burns added 7 points with his strip sack, but they rushed 5 or more over 50% of the time. They did, they held up fairly well with coverage besides some Amari Cooper plays, but they brought it after a week where they played soft. They didn't blitz at all, and they didn't allow guys to make plays.
Yeah, and you know what? It was after that they started backing off. They got that big lead that Cleveland started to get some things working on offense and almost got back into this game here. It was a bit of a gut check to start this game. What does it say about this team that they had to overcome that absolutely horrific start that had Brian Daboll cursing his grandmother here up in heaven, I think?
I thought they brought some violence today, right? On a week where 3rd season of a head coach, and if you start out 0-2, man, it can get bad quickly. They brought like a culture of violence of, like, we're bringing the punch to this Cleveland Browns team. That their defense is really good. They do have some players on offense. They really brought it. They were resilient, was the word that Daboll used in the post-game, locker room speech. They were resilient, and they got a quick turnaround versus a really good team in Dallas, so they'll be tested even more than they were this week. But they weren't as talented as this Cleveland Browns team overall, and they brought the punch.
All right, you mentioned it. Next up, division game against those Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. Cowboys lost to the Ravens today. Both teams 1-2 on the year. What do the Giants need to do to get win number 2 on Thursday night?
I just said it before. Bring the physicality. Bring the physicality. We've seen the Dallas Cowboys get run all over by the Baltimore Ravens, by the New Orleans Saints. Bring the physicality. Run at them. Make them stop the run. Play a little different than you did the Browns game. Play like you did versus Washington. Make them stop the run all game long. Defensively, that's going to be a much tougher hill to climb because they have Dak, because they have CeeDee Lamb. But just don't let CeeDee Lamb beat you, and hopefully that you can control the game offensively with the run game and then get the ball in your playmakers' hands enough times to create some long drives. But bring the physicality, because too often the Giants and the Cowboys have matched up, including week 1 last year, where they got pushed around, they got bullied. Bring the bully to them.
All right, might be just one win, but they're just one win out of first place in the NFC East. Bobby Skinner, tell everybody where they can check you out on Twitter and Talkin Giants.
Yeah, it's just at Talkin Giants. We have shows 3 times a week. We do film breakdown. So I feel like it's your best one-stop shop for all Giants football. Talkin Giants versus the world.
All right, appreciate the time tonight, sir. Hopefully we can have you back after another win on the season. Thanks for the time tonight.
Thank you.